Here today we will cover the definitive revolution tier list, corroborated by the two greatest geniuses in the world, Jacob and Lillibridge. And no, it's not like political revolutions, so the American Revolution isn't counted on this list. But if it were, it would win.
We are talking about major and rapid shifts in the fundamental structures of things like agriculture, industry, information production, and consumption. First, we gotta explain what in the world a revolution is.
The Neolithic Revolution, which began about 10,000 to 14,000 years ago, started when a number of humans in different places thought, man, Stan, I want to stop moving around so much. What if I could just make food grow on purpose instead of just looking around for it? And that's exactly what they did. They started planting and growing crops, breeding animals, and building houses. Eventually, there were enough people doing enough farming for other people to come up with their own jobs.
The Colombian exchange marked the time when a little old guy named Columbus was like, I'm going to India. And then he didn't. You ever heard of him? You ever heard of him? Little old Columbus guy. He's like, I'm going to India. And then he failed. But it was like the greatest failure of all time because he discovered America. And where would we be without America? All of you non-American listeners are like still here. But us in America, Canada maybe, Canada too, that's what this land, it's not like the land's going away. The North American landmass would still be here, but I don't think it would just be Canada too. We've deduced that it's just Canada too. Welcome to Canada too. The old world and the new world linked together. And this is really important because this is the first time in history that the entire world was connected and ideas were being shared, and it was faster than ever, but like faster than ever by boat. So things still took like 6 months. I couldn't really send a tweet out, be like, hey, you up? 6 months later. No, why would you mail this to me? Who are you? I don't know. But you got great exports of food and culture all around the world. Some examples of that are like in Greece and the Mediterranean, they got tomatoes, which is huge for pasta. India and Korea got chili peppers, which is a big part of their culinary culture. Hungary got paprika made from chili peppers. And then on top of that, we got coffee. How many of you are big mood in the morning when you don't get your hot cup of joe? Don't even talk to me until I've had my cup of coffee. But also there was a lot of disease. Somewhere around a lot of million people died. There were a lot of people died. And that's not good because, death is never really good. But America got huge benefits from it. And as an American, in my unbiased opinion, that's sweet. 34 million people migrated to America on their own free will between 1851 and 1924. And that's just really great. But also, it created the perfect storm for slavery, and a lot of us know how that ended here. And that concludes the Colombian exchange. The first industrial revolution started in Britain around 1750 and later spread to the rest of Europe, neatly ending around 1850. This era of industrial conquest started because little old Britain was sitting on a geological gold mine of coal and the invention of the steam engine, which led to a boom in manufacturing, as jobs that used to be slow and resource intensive now were more lucrative than ever. Population numbers exploded. General health got better. Railroads connected cities. All in all, things seemed like they were going to be all right. That is, if you didn't ever happen to look up or, breathe, the smog produced by the factories would darken the skies around the area. So little old Timmy would go outside, take a fat rip of smog air. Whoa, whoa. And on top of that, little old Timmy was working a 14-hour job under terrible conditions for abysmal pay. But hey, progress is progress, and there's no way that this little itsy-bitsy period of super pollution will ever come back to haunt us, right?
The Green Revolution, better known as the Made-Up Revolution, is a so-called war on hunger. It takes that farming idea from the Neolithic Revolution and expands on it, using fancy-schmancy science stuff. It all started in the 1940s, when Norman Borlaug thought, man, Stan, I want to make farming more efficient so we can feed all those starving kids in third world countries. And that's exactly what he kind of did. He made farming more efficient, but it hasn't fed everyone yet, and in some places is having a detrimental effect on the environment.
The first industrial revolution started in Britain around 1750 and later spread to the rest of Europe, neatly ending around 1850. This era of industrial conquest started because little old Britain was sitting on a geological gold mine of coal and the invention of the steam engine, which led to a boom in manufacturing, as jobs that used to be slow and resource intensive now were more lucrative than ever. Population numbers exploded. General health got better. Railroads connected cities. All in all, things seemed like they were going to be all right. That is, if you didn't ever happen to look up or, breathe, the smog produced by the factories would darken the skies around the area. So little old Timmy would go outside, take a fat rip of smog air. Whoa, whoa. And on top of that, little old Timmy was working a 14-hour job under terrible conditions for abysmal pay. But hey, progress is progress, and there's no way that this little itsy bitsy period of super pollution will ever come back to haunt us, right?
Now it's time to discuss them dang old tier lists, alright? It's a good time to do tier lists too, because the tier list meme is big right now.
Hot meme.
All of the 2 YouTubers that I know are doing them.
All of the YouTubers are doing them.
All of the 2 that I care about.
I don't know how many I care about.
But I'm probably not going to put a tier list meme in unless I remember to do it. I'm probably going to do it. Anyway, most global impact total is, what do you think?
It's the Industrial Revolution. Because you can argue that, like, oh, but the Colombian exchange had smallpox and it irreversibly damaged the diversity of our ecosystem.
This is most all of it.
Yeah, all of it.
Global impact.
Exactly, global impact. Industrialization made, like, jobs and stuff way...
Hey, guess what we're using? It's Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, we're using an Industrial Revolution byproduct. Don't look into causation or correlation. An Industrial Revolution byproduct.
Have you ever heard of Industrial Revolutions 1 through 5? That's
yeah,
right.
It's still going on. It's still, and technically this is just the first
all
one.
The same one.
But yeah, we're still in the first one. But all in all, like, negative impact, when they talk about negative impact, Industrial Revolution's got it won by a long shot, because you can look into how many people died because of smallpox and how many people died due to other diseases, or how much we messed up our ecosystem. You know how much we messed up our ecosystem with just straight up pollution? A lot.
There's how much we messed up our ecosystem with cows? A bunch. And that's from the first revolution, that other one that we talked about. What was it called again?
What?
Neolithic.
The Green Revolution?
The Neolithic Revolution.
The Neolithic Revolution.
That started cows.
That did not start cows. Nope. I am not.
Cows are invented by the
Karraker is incorrect.
How am I incorrect?
But like
Name one way I'm incorrect.
The negative
the Fertile Crescent
impacts of pollution could wipe us all out, and that's a big deal. We need to stop pollution. Now, am I going to do anything about that? No. It's not my problem. I don't care.
But it is your problem.
It is my problem. But hopefully it doesn't dip until I'm gone, in which case it's no longer my problem. And that is the problem. The problem is the mindset where it's like, well, it's not going to,
I don't care. I'll be dead by then.
Yeah, exactly.
My son, what's that?
Next up in A tier
my great-grandson? What is that? Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Next up in A tier is the Colombian exchange. You had a huge, mix of information, and it's like the first point in history where the whole world kind of unified together, and so we became one globalized world, and could share our ideas with each other, and share our germs with each other. And in that, a couple people died, couple million people died, but hey, that's rough. Also, survival of the fittest. Like, there was a whole group of people that were just immune because they were like, we had this before it mutated.
We had this already.
Yeah,
You stole our smallpox.
Yeah, come on now.
Anyway.
But just, like, how much culture was affected, that's a lot. That kind of, like, got the ball rolling. And I'm sure the effects of that are so great that it'd be impossible to trace them all down, but like just of what we know at this current point in time, that's why we put it
bus riders, the bus will be leaving at 2:30 from the Emerson entrance. The city bus will leave at 2:30 from the Emerson entrance.
Lamau. Anyway, it was just the second most impactful overall of the 4 that we have right now. I think the next one, Karraker knows a lot about.
Yeah. In C tier, B tier, whatever. I don't remember what we're talking. I don't know what we're talking about
And
anymore.
we're not even going to make a
The
tier
B tier
list.
is Neolithic Revolution, and here's why. It started all of them, but people argue that because it was
Again,
10,000 years
don't
ago,
look into correlation opposed to causation.
10,000 years ago, some kids just started farming. And guess what we still have today? Farming. Bada bing, bada boom. The Neolithic Revolution's pretty cool, but it's not
How do
as
you
big
suppose
boy
farming
as those
came
other
about?
ones.
How do you think, like, what was the first, like
I'm
aha
hungry.
farming? I'm hungry.
I see plant.
Hi, hungry, I'm
Sometimes
bad.
plant drops little tiny ball, and ball go in earth, and it make plant again.
It make plant again.
Put water and sun on plant, and make plant go.
Make plant go. How do you, what do you think the first, like, domestication of animal was like? Give me the play-by-play on, like, how we started domesticating wolves. Silence ensues.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to make a tier list.
Like, think about wolves. Wolves are scary and
Wolves are dope.
yeah,
And
Krunk.
here's why. They eat things. They kill moose. You know how much work it takes to kill a moose? Probably a little bit. They're big. They've got faces.
Dude, moose are huge. Like,
Imagine Hudson, but bigger.
dude, it's
And-
moose.
And
Is it moose or
antler
mooses?
ear.
Moose?
Meese.
Meese.
It's moose.
Moose are enormous. Like, you look at a normal deer. You know what?
Imagine an elk, but like 10 times.
We're just
as big.
gonna literally. We don't even have to edit this. It's just like a podcast. He said make a video, and it's a podcast style video.
We're gonna get.
We're
rid
gonna
of-
force Mr. Pine. You've made it this far because you have to degrade
I
it,
think Mr. Sextro had a podcast thing,
dude.
and one of them was 23 minutes long. Ours is gonna be 2 hours.
You're gonna get like a Joe Rogan length podcast. And again, shout out to Mr. Pine, our teacher, listening to this right now.
Definitely listening.
Definitely
to this.
listening
I
to
haven't
this.
cut any part of this out.
What? No, don't cut any part of this.
Not
out.
even the city bus part.
Don't cut any of it out. Keep it all in.
I've already cut out a bit of it from the.
As of right
last
now,
recording.
we're not cutting anything.
I'm not cutting anything.
Except
not
for-
even interruptions.
we might
not
cut-
even if I say
we might
anything
cut-
illegal.
We might cut that.
This is 8 minutes long.
Like,
so far.
no, it's okay. It's okay.
We're not cutting a bit of it.
We're gonna keep going. Okay. So you have your
How
Neolithic
much work it would
Revolution.
take to cut parts of this out.
Nothing. It's gonna take no work because we're not cutting any of it.
Okay, Neolithic Revolution anyway is pretty dope, and it's B tier because I don't have much more to say about it other than farming.
Yeah, it started
and
farming.
Nothing's better than farming. I don't
We
think.
got dogs from it.
dogs.
Dogs.
Dogs are pretty cool.
Dogs
And
are pretty cool.
Imagine wolves, but cute. Anyway,
Two.
C tier, garbage tier, because it's not impactful at all.
Whoa.
Is shut up.
That's a hot take.
This is my. It's not a hot take.
That is a hot take.
This take is called.
What are
hot
you
take.
talking about?
No. Green Revolution is made up. It's fake. It's
don't-
lame.
I
It's
don't-
for nerds.
I don't. Can you cite your sources on that?
My source is the people who are saying it's very important. I need a tissue.
Let me get up here. So Karraker is getting a tissue.
Karraker's getting a tissue.
and I'm gonna
and
speak to you.
He thinks
I
that
think that
Neolithic
the
Revolution is 10 times as cool as
the Green
normal
Revolution
one.
is very
But except
important.
10 times 0 is still 0.
The Green Revolution is providing food for third world countries. It is a great alternative to growing crops the way we are now. The only downsides is that it is very resource intensive. I see no problem with the trend we are on to make super crops. I really like the idea of super crops. They produce high yield and are resistant to diseases. But the way that bacteria works is they evolve rapidly. So by making these super crops, we might actually be helping the bacteria that destroy them learn the tactics that we use to effectively deter these superviruses or bacteria. So basically, they might be learning our tricks, and not learning in the like mastermind sense, but learning kind of in the way that just like if you smash your head against a slot machine enough times, you're gonna hit the lottery, and they do that a couple million times a day. So hopefully they don't get all sevens and just destroy all of our crops. But all in all,
Revolution is D tier, F tier, zero impact, garbage.
Karraker is
It
back.
feeds kids. It's good, but it's also terrible. Karraker's back. I'm here.
Big drink. So
What do you think is the most
positive.
positive though?
I don't.
We've just
I think
covered
you know.
everything in the world. The most positive one, I think. I'm gonna say it's Neolithic Revolution because I can't think of anything bad that's come from civilization ever. Nothing bad has ever happened since people started becoming civilized. Nothing.
Yeah,
Not a thing. No dust bowls.
We have dogs.
No. Yeah, farming's never caused any problems. No dust bowls. No
dogs.
rust bowls. No more cust bowls. You know, nothing's bad.
We have dogs now.
Crime? What's that?
We have dogs now.
Murder? I don't. Dogs? Dogs are good.
Dogs are good.
There's no such thing as a bad dog. There's no pugs who can't breathe. There's no pit bulls who are known for being evil, even though they're not.
Even though they are. Bold.
That's its own video.
Bold
that's,
take.
That's for
Bold-
next week.
bold
That's
take.
next week's podcast.
Bold
Are pit
hot
bulls
take.
evil?
Hot take.
What
Pit
is
bulls?
dog tier list between?
Dude,
Look forward to next week's podcast.
we make a dog tier list. I'd be so down to make a dog tier list.
Yeah, we're gonna do that next podcast.
Yeah, but the most positive one was the Neolithic Revolution.
And here, it's because there's no bad. I can't think of one bad thing that's ever had been bad
let's
about
see
the
here.
Neolithic Revolution.
No, because even in that, like, the people in the Neolithic Revolution learned how to farm so it doesn't destroy the land, like subsistence farming. It was all good. All good until the Green Revolution came along, and they're like, it's destroying.
Yeah, there's never been pollution
destroying
from
the dirt.
farming before the
Yeah, before pesticides and such, but also people shouted. The most negative impact, we're gonna have to go with the Industrial Revolution.
And why do you think that?
Well, I think that because like pollution and the work
Identity
laws that were
Identity
like
theft
put in place.
came about
And
because of the
The
Industrial
problem with the
Revolution.
Industrial Revolution is we made so much progress so fast, we were like scrambling to keep up. So
And we destroyed the
Yeah,
Earth.
we have,
It's
like-
gone. There's
we have,
no
like,
planet Earth anymore. It's pretty crazy. How we just deleted
irreversible
Earth
we have irreversible effects
with smog.
from all the way back then,
Have you ever
and
heard of China?
even into now.
Covered in smog.
You know, we're not really doing much to fix it. So that's a problem. But like that got the Industrial Revolution definitely got the pollution ball rolling down the hill. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else. I think we might be able to cut this. Thank you. Before I say that,
We need the.
No, we're done.
Anyway, look forward to next week's
Yeah.
podcast, Dog
Okay.
Tier List.
Dog tier list. Thank you very
It's
much.
not really going to be a podcast as much as like
Thank you very
a
much.
tier list meme,
What's
which
going to
might be dead by next
a
week.
loud
but
argument.
We're doing it anyway.
Thank you for listening. Bye bye.
We'll see you. Subscribe to Hutstuff.